Rick here, and today I'm going to show you how you can create cemetery style fencing for part of your Halloween decorations and displays.
There's nothing to be afraid of yet.
Now, if you're like me, you probably have some leftover scraps of lumber out in your garage or your shed somewhere. And so my starting point for projects is always to look around at all the crap I've saved for that day that I'm going to mysteriously use it and actually go grab it and put it to use. Yes, I'm a hoarder, I know, but hey, I always told myself, don't get rid of that wood because one day, well, you may use it. And look at me, here I am actually dragging it out of the garage and using it. Now, if you're not like me, if you don't hoard stuff and you don't have a lot of excess scrap lumber laying around, no worries. All of these are common boards that you can get quickly and cheaply at your local big box store. I happen to have a few large boards that were part of a shelving system that the original homeowners had, and I took that down. So I got my table saw out here and I just started to cut these down. If you were going to go buy these at what I'm making here are the top and the bottom plates for my display for my fence, and if you don't have a board that you can cut down, go get you a 1x6. 1x6 is the perfect size board for your top and your bottom plates, and they're pretty cheap. They're about $8 to $10 a board, again, and you're only going to purchase these materials one time. I was fortunate to have these large planks that I was able to cut down and have enough lumber here for my top and my bottom plates. You could also do them a little bit thicker if you have 1x8s or 1x4s. That's really the beautiful thing about this project is when I tell you use whatever wood you have, I'm being serious. You're looking at 2x4s that I've cut in half to make 1x2s. And again, don't worry, if you don't have any 2x4s to cut, you can buy 1x2s at your local big box store. You're also going to need some PVC. The PVC in the 1x2s is going to be used for our fence post. This is 3/4 inch, and you can buy it in these pre-cut sections if you don't have any laying around. You're also going to need some galvanized tube straps. These are going to be 3/4 inch also. Galvanized tube straps. I'll put the links for all of this in the comment section down below. Pick up some of these steel rebar pins when you're at your big box store. These are 24 inches long, so they're 2 foot in length. And most commonly you see these when folks pour concrete because they're used to attach rebar to the concrete forms. But they make fantastic fence posts for your Halloween decorations. You're going to also want to cut your 3/4 inch PVC to 24 inch lengths. If you have the ability to transport this, it's much cheaper to buy it in the larger sections. Otherwise, you can buy those pre-cut sections while you're at Lowe's or Home Depot. You can see here the idea of what we're going to do with these ground anchors and the PVC. Now I'm going to create my fence post. I have my fence post sections cut to 24 inches long, and then I've also have my 3/4 inch PVC pipe cut to 24 inches long. This is where these galvanized tube straps come into play. I'm going to take 2 tube straps and I'm simply going to sit it over, one at the top, one at the bottom, and then I'm going to proceed to screw those in. I use drywall screws, whatever screws you have laying around. You just want to make sure the head is thick enough to attach that to your base. Again, I'm using leftover lumber, so I created these bases myself, but you could use a 2x4 or anything else that you've got laying around. You just want to make sure that whatever your fence post thickness is thick enough to account for the width of the tube strap. So this is what it looks like once it's completed. And you're going to build however many of these you need depending upon your section of fencing. So my fencing is going to be relatively small. It's only running about a 10-foot section on this side of my yard. And so I'm going to start with one at the end, and then I'll probably add one in the middle for support. But all you're going to do is now you're going to take this fence post that you've attached and you're going to sit it over your steel tube that you've anchored into the ground. And you can see just how sturdy that is. All right, one word of advice though. Before, and it seems sort of like common sense, but I feel like we should talk about it. Before you hammer anything metal into your ground, make sure you know what's in the ground. I've got sprinkler systems. If I mess that up, it's going to be a bad day. But it could also be dangerous because there could be gas lines, there could be electrical wires, your internet could be running under there. You don't want to mess any of that stuff up, but also you don't want to get hurt. And so make sure you know what's in the ground before you go hammering metal anchor points into your ground. If you live in a city, you can call the local municipality 411 or whatever that number is for your area. They'll come out, they'll take these little metal flags, or these little, you've seen them, they've got little metal like toothpick bases. They'll throw them in the ground and you can easily see that line of electrical or gas. They're going to be different colors based off of whatever's in the ground. So maybe there's nothing in the ground, good. But in the event that there is, you'll want to make sure that you don't hit it. So let's practice some safety and make sure that we know what's in the ground. So now that we've had that safety warning, let's get back to the build. With those fence posts complete, you can now move on to the actual construction of your fence. You can see my beautiful arm brace here. Yeah, I broke my arm by falling over a dog gate in the middle of the night, and it led to what I call 6 months of hell. A really horrible experience, honestly, but hey, I was not going to let a broken arm keep me from building my Halloween fence. What I'm doing here is I'm just hammering these ground anchors into the ground. It's going to depend upon your soil conditions. You want to go deep enough that it is solid. You don't want it to be wiggling and moving around a lot because you need a solid foundation to build your fence on here. One of my favorite quotes in life is, "On a solid rock we stand." I think that is a true statement to many things that we experience in life. When we have a solid foundation beneath us, it really helps set us up to be successful. Building this fence project, these solid fence post corner points here, they're just giving you a nice foundation that you can build this decoration off of. My OCD got the best of me. You can see me break out the level here, trying to get this board straight. You don't have to get this board straight. Listen, we're not building a fence that is actually going to be supporting anything here. This isn't going to be a permanent structure. And so why I went through this extra effort, I don't know, but I wanted the board to be level. Maybe you want the board to be level. Sometimes people want them to be a little bit catawonky because, hey, you see that in old cemetery style fencing. It might actually look really cool if one of the boards here was sagging, just like this right here. I'm using a nail gun, just a brad nailer that I would use for finish work around the house, and I'm using this just to get these boards attached. I will later go back with those black drywall screws that I use to attach my PVC to the anchor straps, and I'll go back and I'll reinforce this with those, just so that it's a little bit more sturdy, especially for storage. Otherwise, you'll start to have some of those boards fall off, and your fence is going to deteriorate the second that you try to move it. So once you get your top plates set, your top and your bottom plates in the position that you want them, you can go ahead and start applying the pickets. So there you have it, one completed section of the post and the rail section. Nice and neat, very secure. That's not going anywhere. And if you need to move it or adjust, all you do is lift up and readjust your steel anchor point and then put it back. The only things here that I would say that you really need to take into consideration is going to be the length of your fence. And that is really going to depend on your ability to store it. So if storage isn't a problem and you can store a long section like this is roughly 10 feet, I can store that. And so I'm going to build it in one complete section and then
because the less sections, the easier it is to put out every year. If space is a consideration, then I would put an anchor point here and I would build it in smaller sections, whatever is suitable to your ability to store your fencing in the off season. So now that I have my first section done, I'm going to move over here and work on my second section.
Now you can see from this sped up time-lapse video just how quickly the second section of fencing goes in. This is also a 10-foot section, and I'm able to get this up in around 30 minutes. And that's because you will learn so much from that first section that you build that every other piece moving forward, you'll just be able to do so much quicker. This is also the point in the project where you start to see that final vision. You can really see things coming together, and that's exciting, and it helps give you that motivation to move forward with the next step of the project.
One of the easy ways the next year when you go to put this out the second time, instead of trying to lay your stakes and then get your fence posts to line up, is simply get one end of your fence in the place that you want it. And then here in the middle, I'm just going to take it and I'm going to drop. And then that's going to give me the perfect location for where this section of my fence is. I'll hammer that into the ground and then my fence will sit right on top. Perfect alignment, no mess or fuss.
I'm using my miter saw now just to create some angles on the top of these picket boards, and I'm not doing this with any precise specific measurement. I'm just cutting random angles on the boards just to give them this unique picket look.
So I'm getting ready to do my board pickets, and I've settled on a height of about 36 inches across the fence. Now there is no real pattern in which to do this. Actually, the more sporadic, the more random, the more it's going to look spooky and like a decrepit cemetery. So what I've done is I've got approximately 36-inch board lengths here, some different sizes, and I've cut pickets, 45s, and some odd angles to give it that picketed effect. And now I'm going to begin to put these up. So I have my first section of fencing done. I think it's looking great. I actually used up all of my spare lumber, so I'm going to have to go get some more. But you can see it really is a random pattern here. Some short ones, boards that have smooth edges or straight edges, others that I've cut at various angles. Really no rhyme or reason, just staggered it. Running out of daylight here in Texas to do a work meeting, eat dinner, go get some more lumber. But I have finished my second section of fencing here. All I've tried to do is mimic somewhat the pattern that you see on the right hand side. So for instance, here we see these two boards slanted here, and I have replicated that but going in the opposite direction there. Just so to the eye, visually, it does have some sense of symmetry, even if it looks like it's falling down and old. That's the point here. One small change that I am making is originally I was going to put this long section here and I was going to leave this side open, and I'm going to change that. One, it's too much lumber, and two, I think it'll block too much of my display off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the display out to about here, and then I'm going to replicate that on that side so it looks like you're actually entering into the cemetery. So I'm going to try to do that with a little bit of daylight I have left and then see how it goes. So I've got it all built now. I've just got to paint it, but I really love the changes that I made, specifically changing it from this long piece to the short entrance pieces. It really does feel like an entrance into a cemetery. So I don't have any of my props out yet, but except this one tombstone, but you can already see just how nice of an effect that is going to have. So now I'm going to take some black spray paint. I'm going to get it painted up and then get my props out. I'm adding in one of the last elements of my fence display, and that is these RGB LED neon rope lights. And these are waterproof, so they can be used outdoors, and it just adds that little extra element to your fence once it's complete. A few things that I like about these: you can change the lights to red, green, blue, or white, or any color combination in between. You can see here on the left hand side I've got them set to green right now, and on the right hand side they are actually fading through the different colors. And that's really cool because you can set these lights to match the other lights in your display, or you can do what we did, and that is change the lights to be different colors on different nights leading up to Halloween, which is what we do with our house lights. Another cool thing that I like about these is that it comes with these attachment clips. Now, you don't really need these attachment clips because the LED lights fit nice and snug right here, right behind the pickets of your fence. Another thing that I want to highlight about these is you've got 3 options here with this excess light. So you can see that I've got this excess rope light left over. You've got 3 options when it comes to this. One, you can leave it as is and it's going to look just like that. It doesn't actually look that bad at night, but it does look a little bit odd because you get a little bit of the light coming down and then it just abruptly stops. And so I don't actually like that, but that is an option to leave it as is. The second option would be to cut it, and I would cut it right around here. There's instructions that come with the lights that show you how to do that. I don't want to cut it because next year I think I might actually extend my fence down a little bit more, and I might need that extra light. And so the third option, instead of leaving it as is or cutting it, is to do what I've done down at this end. And that is simply to use black electrical tape and to cover the end. So you take some black electrical tape, you can cover the end of that light up, and then you won't ever even see it. So it gives it the appearance that it's been cut to the custom length of your fence, but it's really not. It's just hidden with the electrical tape. So I like this look a little bit better there versus that look with that little excess light there. So I'm going to get some electrical tape. I'm going to wrap this guy up here, and then we're going to be good to go. You can see the only other addition I've added are these little bitty lights here on the front part. These are just pathway lights, and I added these pathway stake lights, and I've just taken the bottom of them off and I've draped them over the fence. And I did that because I got these on clearance at Lowe's yesterday for like $2 a box, end of Halloween season sale.
So here it is with a few of the different colors so you can see how it looks in terms of the different type of lighting. I've got it on orange here. Orange and purple are really nice colors. It helps bring out the orange chest of my 12-foot skeleton. My favorite though probably was this green. It looked really good with the green house lights and then the purple uplighting. Those are just LED lights that you can change colors on that are in cheap housing fixtures that you can get from a big box store, and I put them in the ground to uplight the house there. So I like the green with it, and then I also like the purple. The purple and the green are like quintessential Halloween colors, and so really you can't go wrong with this. Play around with it and find a color scheme that works for you. But that's the beautiful thing about these, the ability to change these is you can find something that you like. So that's it, guys. I hope you found this YouTube tutorial interesting and that it highlights just how quickly and easily you can build your own cemetery style fencing to elevate your Halloween displays. Please feel free to watch my channel. You can see the rest of my Halloween display video right here. I've got videos on how you can build a flying ghost, how you can do zombify your skeletons into corpses, etc. So please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.